A new JoJo story has just dropped and it's hugely different from any of the previous JoJo series. This isn't just a change of setting or characters, it marks a major turning point for Araki as a creator. He's not just satisfied with merely telling stories of good defeating evil anymore, he's starting to tackle more complex and real themes. Today I want to discuss from both narrative and character perspectives why Steel Ball Run is the best JoJo and how it represents both excellence and transformation. While trends in anime are changing, most main characters still tend to be good guys, especially in the earlier JoJo series like the first part. But we can see how Araki's portrayal of heroes has evolved over time. They are becoming more flawed. Jotaro and Josuke, despite their rough ages, one with his foul language towards his mom and the other with his love for pranks, still have a core of goodness. Jolono brings in a bit more cunning, and Jeline adds more rebellion and recklessness. But in Steel Ball Run, Johnny is flawed to the bone. First off, he's physically broken. He can't even stand up. But the real issue is inside him. He's haunted by guilt over his brother's death. After becoming a star, he's arrogant, but that arrogance is laced with insecurity and trauma. He's even morally gray. Most importantly, he isn't trying to save the world. He just wants his legs back. I'll dive deeper into that later. The other main character, Gyro, seems brave and just, but Johnny calls him out, "You are just a successor." To me, that means he lacks the courage to risk everything. Neither of these characters is instantly likable, but it's their unlikability that makes them complex individuals instead of just flat heroes. So what does this complexity bring? For one, it creates resonance. A perfect person feels way too distant, but someone who is flawed, struggling, and wavering feels more relatable. Plus, there's plenty of room for growth. When they gradually overcome their flaws, those moments truly resonate with the audience. And the antagonists are just as nuanced as the protagonists. Diego isn't the pure evil that Dio represents, although I think Dio's pure evil is pretty charming. Diego's motivations come from childhood trauma. He just wants to rise to the top and prove himself. Valentine is ruthless, but he's driven by national interests. Araki doesn't make the villains purely evil. Instead, he roots their actions in their twisted social values, reflecting the realities of the world. The conflict between protagonist and antagonist doesn't boil down to just justice versus evil. For example, Dio's traits might help him win the race, while Gyro's nobility could lead to failure. There is no absolute right or wrong. It's all about the clash of ideals. As we're watching these conflicts, we find ourselves questioning what is truly right. And that's the power of complex characters. If you've watched earlier JoJo series, you'll notice they often have a lot of side plots. For instance, Pearl Jam in the fourth part or end storyline in the third part. Even without these plots, the main story can still progress. While these plots can be interesting, they slow down the pace and dilute the tension. Steel Ball Run, however, is different. It sticks to two main storylines, one focused on the horse race and the other on collecting the saint's corpse. The race itself acts as a narrative tool. With schedules, rivals, and countdowns, characters can't afford to slow down and neither can the story. At the same time, the competition for the saint's corpse subtly drives the plot, peeling back layers of stand abilities, villain plans, and character motivations. As a result, every character action has to be deliberate and purposeful. These intertwined storylines makes the story a tightly woven and high-stakes narrative. It isn't a long, meandering road trip. It's a race where failure could mean death. I want to emphasize this point separately because it's so important. In the first three JoJo parts, the main characters are all about saving the world or others. In Golden Wind and Stone Ocean, these goals start to shrink a bit. Jolono aims to become a gang star, and Jeline wants to stop Father Pucci, but the characters can still be seen as aspirational. But Johnny? Even as we get closer to the climax, he still says, "I'm still negative, I want to get up to zero." He doesn't have any lofty ambitions, nor does he care about the world peace. He just wants to walk again. In contrast, Valentine, with his nationalistic ambitions, feels more like a traditional hero. However, Johnny's motivation of not wanting to save the world makes him feel more relatable. Think about some recent memorable characters. Denji just wants to eat good food, Frieren wants to see her dead friend, and Hoshino siblings are fighting their way through the entertainment industry for revenge. None of them are trying to save the world, but why can we empathize with them? Because their motivations are primal, rooted in human instincts like survival, love, death, and resistance. They are light years ahead of abstract world peace. If someone can't even get enough food, how can they think about humanity's fate? Johnny's desire to walk is just that simple, but it's this simplicity that makes us care about him. And what's clever about Alaki is that even if Johnny ends up saving the world, the real focus isn't on that. The spotlight stays on Johnny himself, his struggles, his transformation, the journey from negative to zero. In his own words, this story is the tale of me starting to walk. By focusing on the character instead of the world, the story avoids coming off as preachy and doesn't force ideologies onto the audience. Instead, it lets us immerse ourselves fully. And the ending is even more brilliant. It flips shonen tropes on their head. Johnny doesn't win the championship, and the boy Gyro saves dies shortly after from a cold. The world isn't better, just different. This reminds me of the ending of other great stories, like Mob Psycho 100 and Little Miss Sunshine. The main characters don't get to date or win competitions, which makes the stories feel more real because life doesn't hand out rewards just because you have grown. Stripped it from fame, prizes, and victories, what really remains are the experiences, the hurdles overcome, and the real growth. And that's the true meaning of the journey. And Steel Ball Run has so much more to offer. For one, it reintroduced the concept of stands in a way that newcomers to JoJo can easily understand. The character designs become more aligned with the mainstream style, and the setting of the American West makes it stand out among many Japanese manga. All of this lays a strong foundation for its success. But what I love most is that it's willing to tell a story that's not perfect. A group of flawed individuals, a conclusion without a victory, and a protagonist who just wants to walk again. I hope this video helps you enjoy the animation. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.